There are moments in life when the road seems to vanish beneath our feet. Moments when doors close without warning, when dreams drift away like smoke, and when questions gather in our hearts with no answers willing to come forward. In those quiet and uncertain hours, we often ask, why did this happen to me? We search the darkness for a reason, a sign, a thread that might connect today's confusion to tomorrow's understanding. Yet life has a way of speaking in a language that is rarely immediate. It whispers before it explains. It tests before it reveals. What feels like an ending may be the beginning of a chapter we could never have imagined. What appears to be a loss may carry the seed of a future blessing. The events that break us open often become the very events that teach us who we are. Think about the storms that have passed through your own life, the disappointments you never wanted, the goodbyes you never expected, the detours that forced you away from the path you carefully planned. At the time, they may have seemed cruel, unnecessary, even unbearable. But as the years moved forward, perhaps some of those wounds became windows. Perhaps some of those setbacks led you toward a wisdom, a relationship, an opportunity, or a strength that would never have existed otherwise. There is a mysterious rhythm to human experience. We do not always hear it when we are standing in the middle of hardship. We hear it later when we look back and see how separate moments were quietly connected all along. The heart understands this truth before the mind is ready to accept it. Life is not a collection of random fragments. It is a story unfolding, page by page, often beyond the limits of our immediate understanding. Tonight, I invite you to consider a powerful possibility that every challenge, every delay, every unexpected turn, and every season of waiting may hold a purpose greater than what is visible right now. Not because life is always fair, and not because suffering is easy to explain, but because meaning has a remarkable way of emerging from places where we least expect to find it. Life's hidden purpose rarely announces itself when we need it most. It does not arrive with a clear explanation or a map that shows where every road will lead. More often, it remains concealed behind disappointment, confusion, and uncertainty. Human beings naturally want answers. We want to know why a relationship ended, why an opportunity disappeared, why a season of struggle arrived without warning. We look at painful moments and try to make sense of them immediately. Yet many of life's most important lessons cannot be understood while they are still unfolding. They reveal themselves only after time has passed and perspective has widened. Consider how often people look back on experiences they once considered failures and discover that those very experiences redirected them towards something better. A job rejection may have felt devastating in the moment, but years later it may be recognized as the event that pushed someone toward a more meaningful career. A difficult ending may have seemed unbearable, yet it created space for growth, healing, and relationships that were previously impossible. The reason was not visible at the beginning because the story was not finished. The mind wanted an explanation, but life was still writing the next chapter. There is a tendency to measure events only by the emotions they create in the present. If something causes pain, we assume it has no value. If it creates discomfort, we assume it is working against us. But growth often wears the disguise of hardship. Strength is rarely developed during moments of ease. Wisdom is seldom born from certainty. Some of the qualities people admire most in themselves: resilience, patience, courage, compassion, are often forged in seasons they would never have chosen voluntarily. The struggle itself was not the destination, but it became part of the path leading somewhere meaningful. This does not mean every difficult experience is easy to justify, or that every painful moment should be celebrated. Some losses leave deep scars. Some questions remain unanswered for years. Yet even in those circumstances, people frequently discover dimensions of themselves they never knew existed. They learn how much they can endure. They uncover strengths that remain dormant during comfortable times. They develop a deeper understanding of others who are suffering. What once appeared to be only a burden gradually reveals itself as a source of transformation. Life moves in ways that are often invisible while we are living them. We see individual moments, but we do not always see how those moments connect. It is similar to standing inches away from a large painting. Up close, the colors and shapes may seem random and disconnected. Only when stepping back does the image begin to make sense. In much the same way, years often provide the distance necessary to recognize purpose where there once appeared to be only confusion. The event itself may not change, but our understanding of it does. What once felt like an obstacle becomes a turning point. What once seemed like a setback becomes a doorway. What once looked like an ending becomes part of a much larger story still unfolding. Pain is one of life's most difficult companions. No one invites it, no one plans for it, and no one escapes it entirely. It arrives in different forms, through loss, disappointment, betrayal, failure, loneliness, or unexpected change. When it first appears, it often feels like an interruption to the life we wanted. We resist it because it hurts. We question it because it seems unfair. We wish we could remove it from our story altogether. Yet throughout human experience, pain has carried an unusual power. It has the ability to teach lessons that comfort never could, and reveal truths that success alone might never uncover. Many of the things people understand most deeply were learned during difficult seasons. When everything is going well, it is easy to overlook what truly matters. Comfort can create the illusion that life will always remain the same. But hardship has a way of stripping away distractions and bringing attention to what is essential. It forces people to examine their values, their priorities, and their understanding of themselves. In moments of struggle, individuals often discover what they are made of and what they are capable of becoming. Loss, in particular, teaches lessons that are impossible to learn from abundance. The loss of a relationship can reveal the importance of genuine connection. The loss of certainty can teach adaptability. The loss of comfort can uncover resilience. While these lessons are rarely welcomed, they often leave a lasting imprint on a person's character. They create a depth of understanding that cannot be gained through theory or observation alone. Experience becomes the teacher, and its lessons are remembered because they were felt as much as they were learned. Uncertainty is another powerful instructor. Human beings naturally prefer clear answers and predictable outcomes. We want to know what comes next and how everything will turn out. Yet life frequently places us in situations where the future remains hidden. These periods can feel uncomfortable and frightening because they challenge our desire for control. However, uncertainty often develops qualities that certainty cannot. It teaches patience when immediate answers are unavailable. It encourages faith in one's ability to continue despite not knowing the destination. It reminds people that growth does not always require complete understanding. Pain also has the remarkable ability to deepen compassion. Those who have experienced hardship often become more sensitive to the struggles of others. They recognize silent battles because they have fought their own. They listen more carefully, judge less quickly, and offer support with greater sincerity. In this way, suffering can transform personal wounds into sources of empathy and connection. The lessons learned through adversity extend beyond the individual and influence the way they interact with the world around them. Over time, many people discover that their most challenging experiences became some of their greatest teachers. The pain itself was never the goal, nor was the suffering desirable. Yet within those difficult moments were opportunities for growth, reflection, and transformation. The hardships that once seemed determined to break them often revealed strengths they did not know they possessed. The uncertainty that once felt unbearable encouraged courage. The losses that once appeared empty created space for wisdom, maturity, and a deeper appreciation of life's fragile beauty. Every person carries a story, whether the world sees it or not. Beneath every smile, every achievement, every struggle, and every ordinary day is a narrative being written through countless experiences. Some chapters are shaped by deliberate choices, while others emerge from circumstances beyond personal control. Together, these forces create the unique journey of a human life. Understanding this truth helps us see that we are not merely passive observers of our existence, nor are we complete authors with unlimited control. We live in the space where choice and circumstance meet, constantly influencing the direction of our story. From the moment we enter the world, circumstances begin to shape us. We do not choose where we are born, the family we enter, the culture that surrounds us, or many of the opportunities and obstacles that appear in our path. These realities become part of the foundation upon which our lives are built. Some people begin with advantages that open doors easily, while others face challenges that require extraordinary perseverance just to move forward. These circumstances influence our experiences, but they do not completely define who we become. At the same time, every individual possesses the power of choice. While we may not control every event that happens to us, we do have influence over how we respond. This is where the story begins to take shape in a deeply personal way. Two people can face similar hardships and emerge with entirely different perspectives. One may allow disappointment to create bitterness, while another may transform that same disappointment into determination. The difference often lies not in the event itself, but in the response to it. Life continually presents moments where choice becomes a powerful force. We choose whether to keep going after failure or surrender to discouragement. We choose whether to learn from mistakes or remain trapped by them. We choose whether to let fear dictate our future or step forward despite uncertainty. These decisions may seem small when viewed individually, but over time they accumulate and influence the direction of our lives. A story is rarely transformed by one dramatic moment alone. More often, it is shaped by countless choices made day after day. Yet circumstances continue to play a role throughout the journey. Unexpected opportunities appear. Challenges emerge without warning. Relationships begin and end. Doors open and close. These events can alter the course of a life in ways that no one could predict. They remind us that the path forward is not entirely under our control. Still, even within these unexpected turns, individuals retain the ability to choose their attitude, their effort, and their response. Perhaps this is what makes every human story so compelling. It is not a tale written solely by fate, nor is it created entirely by personal will. It is a dynamic relationship between the world that happens to us and the person we decide to become within it. The circumstances provide the setting, but our choices shape the character. The obstacles create tension, but our responses determine the meaning. Every challenge, every opportunity, every success, and every setback becomes part of an unfolding narrative that is uniquely our own, a story continually shaped by both the forces we encounter and the decisions we make along the way. Meaning is rarely found in the moments we carefully plan or eagerly anticipate. Most people imagine that understanding will arrive during times of success, certainty, and fulfillment. They expect life's greatest revelations to emerge from victories, celebrations, and achievements. While those experiences certainly have value, some of the deepest meaning in life is often discovered during periods of difficulty. It is within hardship, uncertainty, and struggle that people frequently encounter truths about themselves and the world that would otherwise remain hidden. When life unfolds according to our expectations, there is often little reason to question our beliefs or examine our assumptions. Success can be comfortable, and comfort rarely demands transformation. Difficult moments, however, interrupt routine. They force us to stop, reflect, and confront realities we might otherwise ignore. A setback can lead us to reevaluate our priorities. A loss can reveal what truly matters. A season of uncertainty can challenge us to grow beyond the limits of who we once were. In these moments, meaning is not handed to us. It is uncovered through reflection and perseverance. Many people can identify a period in their lives that felt overwhelming at the time, but later became one of their most significant sources of growth. During the struggle itself, there may have been frustration, confusion, and doubt. The experience may have seemed pointless or unfair. Yet, with the passage of time, a different perspective emerged. What once appeared to be a burden became a teacher. What once felt like a barrier became a bridge to greater understanding. The meaning was not visible while the storm was raging, because the lesson was still being formed. Difficult experiences have a unique ability to reveal character. They expose strengths that remain hidden during easy seasons. Courage becomes meaningful only when fear is present. Patience becomes valuable only when waiting is required. Resilience develops not when life is simple, but when challenges demand endurance. These qualities are often discovered through adversity, not because hardship is desirable, but because it creates opportunities for growth that comfort cannot provide. Struggle also deepens our appreciation for life's blessings. People often take certain things for granted until they are threatened or lost. Health, relationships, opportunities, and moments of peace can seem ordinary when they are abundant. Yet difficulty has a way of illuminating their value. Through hardship, individuals often gain a greater sense of gratitude and a clearer understanding of what deserves their attention and care. There is also meaning in the way challenges connect us to one another. Shared experiences of pain, disappointment, and perseverance remind us of our common humanity. They create empathy and understanding. Someone who has endured hardship often becomes more capable of offering comfort and support to others facing similar struggles. In this way, personal difficulties can extend beyond individual growth and become a source of compassion that benefits others. The search for meaning is one of the most fundamental aspects of human life. Yet meaning is seldom found by avoiding difficulty or pretending suffering does not exist. More often, it emerges when people move through challenges with honesty, courage, and reflection. The very experiences that seem determined to break the spirit can become the experiences that clarify purpose, strengthen identity, and reveal a deeper understanding of what it means to live with wisdom and grace. Trusting the journey is one of the most challenging acts of courage a person can practice. Human beings naturally seek certainty. We want clear answers, predictable outcomes, and reassurance that our efforts will lead exactly where we hoped. Yet life rarely unfolds according to a detailed plan. It moves through unexpected turns, unanswered questions, and seasons where the destination remains hidden from view. In those moments, trust becomes more than a comforting idea. It becomes a choice, a decision to keep moving forward even when the entire path cannot be seen. Many people believe courage means having no fear, but true courage often exists alongside fear. It appears when someone continues, despite doubt, uncertainty, or disappointment. Trusting the journey does not mean pretending that challenges are easy or that setbacks do not hurt. It means accepting that not every answer is available today. It means recognizing that understanding often arrives later than expected. Instead of demanding complete certainty before taking the next step, courageous individuals learn to move forward with the information they have, trusting that greater clarity will emerge over time. Life provides countless opportunities to practice this kind of trust. A person may pursue a dream without knowing whether it will succeed. They may begin again after failure without any guarantee of a different outcome. They may enter a new chapter after loss, carrying questions that remain unresolved. In each situation, there is a choice. One option is to remain frozen by uncertainty, waiting for perfect conditions that may never arrive. The other is to continue forward, believing that progress is possible, even when the future remains unclear. Hope plays a powerful role in this process. Hope is not blind optimism or the denial of reality. It is the belief that difficult circumstances do not have the final word. It allows people to imagine possibilities beyond their current struggles. Even when evidence seems limited, hope encourages persistence. It reminds individuals that today's challenges are not necessarily permanent, and that growth often occurs beneath the surface before it becomes visible. Trusting the journey also requires patience. Modern life often encourages immediate results and quick answers, yet many of the most meaningful developments take time. Personal growth unfolds gradually. Healing follows its own schedule. Wisdom develops through experience rather than instant revelation. When people trust the process, they become less focused on immediate outcomes and more attentive to the lessons being learned along the way. They begin to understand that every stage of the journey has value, even those that feel slow or uncomfortable. Another important aspect of trust is resilience. Setbacks are inevitable. Plans change. Expectations are challenged. Circumstances shift unexpectedly. Those who trust the journey are not immune to disappointment, but they refuse to allow disappointment to define their future. They adapt, learn, and continue. Each obstacle becomes an opportunity to strengthen their character and deepen their understanding of what truly matters. Over time, individuals who embrace this mindset often discover that the journey itself has transformed them. The courage they developed while facing uncertainty becomes part of who they are. The hope they maintained during difficult seasons shapes their perspective. The patience they practiced strengthens their character. By trusting the process rather than demanding immediate certainty, they find the strength to continue moving forward, carrying within them a quiet confidence that every step, every challenge, and every unexpected turn contributes to the unfolding story of their lives.